All right, ladies, we are live. I'm your host, Aisha Nixon, and welcome to Rise with Hope. Ladies, these are conversations that I've been having from last year, and I am looking forward to beginning them again this new year, 2022. This is our first conversation called Can You Stay in Your Lane and Be Happy? Ladies, these conversations are for you to encourage, to enlighten, to inspire, and to empower you. Ladies, I know it's a cold night out there, and so I want you to get comfortable. Hopefully, you have your hot drink and join us for this conversation that we'll be having. I want you to know, ladies, it is possible that as we go through life, at some point or time, we may look at other people's lives and want some part of it. It could be what they're going after in terms of their goal, their purpose. It also could be their accomplishments, their positions, their status. We're going to unwrap and examine this topic with Colleen Miller. She is our honored guest tonight, and so let's welcome her tonight. Colleen, welcome.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and to dive into this very relevant subject. I think we can all relate to, this question of can I stay in my lane and be happy? I think at some point we've all had to ask ourselves a question like that.
Absolutely. And so before
Mhm.
we dive into the topic, Colleen, can you share with the audience three things about who Colleen Blake Miller is?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Colleen. I am a mother and wife. I have four little ones, so my very active and loud household. I'm a registered psychotherapist, so my days are filled kind of walking through some tough seasons with individuals, couples, and families. And something, I guess, quirky about me, or something that people may or may not know. I generally always have gum in my mouth. I'm always chewing on gum. Not now. I take it out if I'm speaking. And I am kind of in a love hate. No, not hate, but I'm a creature of habit. So my current kind of habit that I'm working through is the love that I have for salt and pepper wings. I'm someone who, like, when I find something I like, if it's a piece of food or whatever, I just ride it. I ride it until it goes away. And this one has been quite a while. This wings relationship that I have has been, yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for shedding light on who you are, a bit of who you are. And it's good to know that, you know, you're serious, but you can also, be fun too, have balance to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for sharing. Um, let's get into the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to start with the first question, Colleen. What does it mean to you to stay in your own lane?
Mm-hmm. So for me, I think staying in your own lane means that you have awareness about your strengths,
Okay.
right? You know what your strengths are. Your there's clarity around your purpose. You know your why. And you know the assignment that you really have. And so I've heard people talk about this term assignment, and I don't know if there's mixed feelings or thoughts about that word, but for me, what that means is there's a sense of call, like this is what I'm doing right now in this season. And because you know it, you're able to recognize when you're in that lane, and you can recognize when you kind of veer away from that lane. So that's what I believe staying in your lane looks like having a sense of what your strengths are, what your giftings are, an understanding of purpose, and like why you do what it is that you do, why it matters to you, why it makes a difference if you don't do what it is that you feel really strong and passionately about. And then clarity around the assignment for the season that you're in right now, and this commitment to it. Yeah.
That's great. I wanted to ask you, as you were sharing that, when you talked about the assignment, synonymous with the word calling, would you
Mm-hmm.
recommend that if one is in a profession that they like, they're passionate about, etc., can we equate that to being somebody's calling or assignment?
Mm-hmm. So I think it's a personal question, something you have to ask yourself, right? Um, you have to know if the profession, because sometimes people land in professions that just connect with what they've been good at and what maybe they've been told, and it's just been like a natural kind of, I've fallen into it, I'm good at it. Or maybe it's like, oh, this, like, it pays well, but there can still be a sense of a lack of fulfillment, a lack of meaning. So it's a question for the person to ask themselves, where do I get, what is that sense of call, and that sense of, like, it really matters that I press on in this way for me, and my understanding of why I'm here. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Thank you for answering that question. And so, ladies, you heard Colleen mention it's an awareness of your strengths, clarity around your purpose, knowing your assignment or the calling that you have, and it requires commitment. And
Mm-hmm.
so, great points that you talked about in terms of staying in your own lane.
Mm-hmm.
Colleen, in you saying that, has that ever been a challenge to you? And if so, could you share a little bit about that?
So I was having a conversation similar to this yesterday, actually. And so I know that this isn't everybody's story, but this has been my experience. I've known from a very young age what, um, that I would be in this field of encouragement, support. I remember being in school and seeing, it was probably about junior high, um, so 7, 8, around that grade, and the teacher was kind of picking up, um, like, she had like a cards that had different professions on there, different words, and the word psychology, for some reason I had a physical response, like this. Every time I would see the word, it'd be like how I feel about, like, salt and pepper wings. It's like, oh, oh. So it might seem odd or strange or foreign to someone who hasn't experienced something like that, but for me, that's been my story. I've always kind of known that I would find my way down this path, and so, I mean, that's not the only passion that I have now. That's not the only interest that I have. Um, but that's the choice that I made. I think to myself, three professions that I could have pursued, right? Psychology, psychotherapy is one. Um, the other one is possibly like music. That's another area of passion and interest that I have. Um, And then the third one is acting. I love, drama, and for growing up, I did plays, and while I was in university, I did some extra work, and every now and again we'd get like a bigger gig where we were like choir members and stuff like that. But when I question myself around my abilities vocally, because sometimes, because I do sing, I'm on the worship team at church, and sometimes I lead worship. And there are times when I feel like down on myself because I'm not maybe as strong vocally, and I can't do some of the things that I can see other individuals do. And I feel like, man, I'm not as far as I could have been. And it makes sense because I have not put consistent energy and pressure in that area and in that passion, interest, as I have in the area of psychotherapy, right? I went to do my undergrad in psychology, then I went to do my master's, and the focus was marriage and family therapy. I've invested time, energy, lots and lots of resource into training, and I've leaned in, so 15 years into this, there's way more skills in that area. And so for me, that has helped me to feel really clear about where I need to be. And when I begin to feel a little bit off about that or shift attention, I remind myself of the choices that I made, right? And how it makes sense that some of these other areas are not as strong, or I don't see maybe the results as I maybe would have desired in other areas.
I like that. I like what you said in terms of reminding yourself of the choices you made.
Mm-hmm.
Why I like that is because, yeah, it's easy to be down on ourselves and think, okay, how come I'm not as far as, or how come I'm not there?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But as you said, because of the time you invested in the work that you do, psychotherapy, and all the time and effort and resources, etc., that you've studying that you've put in, right? Then that's where you're seeing, you know, um, much more fruitfulness and
Mm-hmm.
etc., right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that is a great reminder to not only me, to the other ladies who are here, who are listening, that think about, where are you putting your energy, your resources, your time, your effort, studying, etc., and be grateful for that, and think of the wins and think of the people that you've been impacting and influencing because of that. And it's not to say that Colleen has stopped; she's still continuing, right? Or the truth,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
etc. So it's not that she's stopping. She's just, it's a realization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not be down on yourself. I really appreciate you sharing that, and being open to that. Um, and so that leads us into our next question, Colleen, about the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
What are some barriers that can um, prevent us women from staying in our own lane and being good?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, limiting beliefs. So the mindsets that we pick up along the way and feed into. Um, Comparison,
Yes.
comparing ourselves, spending too much time looking, to the left and to the right. Um, I think, as we were just talking, another barrier is not applying pressure
Okay.
and not making the investments in terms of development, so that we are um, navigating our lane um, a little bit smoother, with a little bit more ease. Those are at least three things. Those are, three things. There's more, right? But as
Yeah.
far as the three things that stand out most to me, the things that I hear people or see people struggling with a lot is just the mindsets that are limiting, and believing those limiting beliefs and lies, um, being wooed away from your assignment because of the assignment of other people, right? And not making investment, not really committing. And it's one thing to say you're committed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a whole other experience to walk out that commitment. It feels different. It's easy to say,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'm there. Oh yeah, I'm doing it. It's one whole other ballpark to show up day in, day out, feeling like it, don't feel like it, making the difficult choice. Okay, I could invest, right? Time, energy, resource, um, you know, over there on something that might be enjoyable or might give me that, that quick hit, of enjoyment, but I'll get nothing after it's done. I'm not going to get much. And actually saying, I will put it here. I think about some of the things that I've invested in, Aisha, for my development and my growth. And I'm like, oh, it hurts
Mhm.
to make that transfer or to see that deduction coming out. But it is in the long run, I'm going to see, the fruits, as you said, and I'm going to enjoy the fruits too. I'm going to enjoy them. Right. Mm-hmm.
I like that. And so, ladies, as you heard Colleen touch about barriers preventing us from staying in our own lane and being happy, limiting beliefs, so the mindset and comparison, not making investments to develop ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
walking out that commitment. That's something that if we don't walk it out and we just say it, that becomes a barrier. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's important, if we are in our own lane and want to be happy, we got to check those things off to see where are we at on this scale. And another important word that she used is long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does not come easy, and as Colleen was saying, the amount of years that it takes to study and to get to where she is right now, it takes time, it takes sacrifice, it takes when other people are doing whatever they're doing and maybe they're seeing the fruit at that time, and we're still like, okay, not yet, not yet, but it will come. And I know that Colleen can say, I'm sure she can say that she has seen fruit, she has seen progress, she has seen the work that she's put in, she's seeing it, flourish, and and things thrive just because of what she has put in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the investment, the time that she's put in, she's seeing it now being manifested, right? And
Mm-hmm.
ways. And so the long run is so important that we take the time to do the work that needs to be done for in order to see the fruit, and like Colleen said, to enjoy the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
What are practical ways, Colleen? Because so those are the barriers. So now that we're in our own lane,
Mm-hmm.
choose to be happy. Talk to us about practical ways that we can be happy as we stay
Mm-hmm.
in our own lane.
Mm-hmm. I would say it's important for us to um, remind ourselves of the why. I'm an advocate for good old journaling. There's so many different ways and styles of journaling, and there's so many different ways and styles that you um, can use, just pen and paper to keep yourself focused. right? And so that's one way I think to bring yourself back to, why this is so important and why you are doing what it is. When you are flowing, catch a wind, and it's like, whoo, it's like stride, like the stride is just like nice, it's just gliding, and it just feels like it just feels so, kind of like natural and everything, and it feels good. Everything seems to come like really easily. Maybe you get a wind of like motivation, and it's like, oh, this feels great, this is obviously, this is what I should be doing. Enjoy it, right? Because it's not lasting. It's just here for a little season.
That is right.
Knowing the why, having done that work to remember why it matters to you that you are doing what you're doing. You're going to need that in the days and the seasons for when it doesn't feel easy. I would also encourage folks to have a list of accomplishments, list of things that you have done, because when it gets challenging and when it gets tough, you might begin to doubt yourself, right? You might begin to feel like, oh, I don't think I can do this. uh, Life is filled with ups and downs. And so sometimes when we're in those valley experiences, sometimes it overwhelms us, it takes over. And we think that that's all that there is. So having a record, right? A record that you can bring yourself back to say, wait a second, I felt this before, I felt these kinds of feelings before. That can help you to say, hey, I have been in this valley or a similar valley before, and I got over it. And so by the grace of God, I can press on. I can, you know, continue to put my focus in and look expectantly on that list of accomplishments, believing soon you're going to be able to add this current, struggle or challenge to that as well. um, there's a TikTok or a reel that's very popular now. It says, drink water and mind my business. Drink water, and you bring yourself back to what is yours. Your assignment has your name on it.
Wow.
All the other things that you're seeing other people doing, it has their name on it. And so if you try to pick up somebody else's assignment, you are at some point going to have to give an account for what was yours. And I would challenge and encourage you, to mind your business. You know, Only you can mind your business. It's not anybody else's responsibility to take care of what is yours. And the last thing I would say, make it fun. Make it enjoyable. There's going to be parts about being in your lane that um, are difficult. So get creative, find ways of finding enjoyment, um, find ways to challenge yourself, set markers to say, okay, when I hit this, milestone, then I'm going to do this fun activity, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to treat myself, or I'm going to do this thing, or I'm going to give myself a break, and just make it fun and make it enjoyable. So those are some of the things that I would encourage and recommend as far as how to practically stay the course.
That is great. So, ladies, just to recap of what Colleen said in terms of practical ways, remind yourselves of the why, try journaling, and some of you may be already doing that already. I love this point. I never heard about this before, making a list of accomplishments, because when you're in the valley, you can refer to it to see what you've already done and know that, you know what, as Colleen said, once you get out of the valley through this, overcome this struggle, you can add that to the list.
Mm-hmm.
Making or realizing that your assignment has your name on it. And so we are responsible for the purpose, for the calling that has been assigned to us. And lastly, making it fun, getting creative, and celebrating the wins, whether they are big or whether they are small. It is important. Lastly, Colleen, can you tell us how can a close knit community play a role in helping us to stay in our lane and live?
Well, it's funny. We were just talking before we began taping about the wellness community that I facilitate. It's called the Wellness Village. And that was really birthed out of, I guess, complaints and the woes that I would hear clients, various women that are in my network, as well as women that I serve, talking about how hard it is to make friends, how hard it is to build community, how hard it is to stay on task. And so there is a saying that we hear: it takes a village to raise a child. And that's true, but it goes beyond that. It takes a village, period. It takes a village to just do life well. And I do agree that the people in your life are there to support you. You got to tell them, though. You got to tell them how they can support you. There are some people who just have a natural knack for checking in, just earlier on this evening, I thought about someone who I haven't, seen, in the ways that I normally see them. Just, it's kind of like they've been on my mind. The Lord maybe just put them on my heart. I said, let me just send them a quick little voice note to say, like, hey, you good? What's going on? Yeah, you all right? Some people have a knack to do, helpful things for other people. But there are some days, that maybe the thought has come across someone's mind, but then because of life being busy, you miss. And so tell people how they can support you. Tell people what you need. Let go of this idea of being, like the strong woman, being, like, superwoman, or being, the boss chick and all this stuff. And I get it, they're cute terms, but along with that is woven in this idea of being like this independent, I'm going to figure it out on my own. And that's just not how we succeed, right? It takes teamwork makes the dream work, is how the saying goes. And so having people hold you accountable requires you telling them what you're trying to do, and sharing and building community and network, planning, fun activities and things, let's say if you have a milestone, inviting them in to celebrate with you. These are ways that they can support you and help you, but it begins by you asking for what it is that you need.
That's awesome. So, ladies, you heard what Colleen just shared about in terms of community. But it's important for the lady herself, for us ourselves, to say that we need help. Let somebody know you need the support. Very important, so that others can know what it is that you need and that you can get the support that is required. And just checking in, as Colleen said, maybe somebody has come to your mind, give them a call, send them a text, etc., just to see what is up with them, just so that they know that, yeah, you're thinking of them, because sometimes you can feel alone, especially during this time. And so, Colleen, before we close, this has been an amazing time and just so much that you have shed light on in terms of, can we stay in our own lane and be happy? And so,
Mm-hmm.
you just, there's probably a lady who is listening who is struggling in terms of staying in her own lane and being happy. Can you just end with another piece of advice that you can just encourage her with before we come to
Mm-hmm.
a close?
Yeah, thank you again for having me on, Aisha. I hope that this has really helped to spark uh, something in someone, spark that fire um, under you, spark it in your belly, remind you, reawaken the call that is in you and over you. To the one who is feeling discouraged, to the one who has been maybe shifted away from their lane, to the one that is confused about their lane. For me, I would lean on faith. And I really believe that our lanes have been sort of assigned by the Lord. I believe that there is a call on each one of our lives. I believe that it isn't actually anything that you have done to earn the right to have a call or to have a lane. It's something that is, kind of crafted and grafted within you. And so I invite you to um, begin to consider what are the lies that have made you feel as though where you are right now isn't good enough, or that has left you feeling as though where you're coming from somehow is not good enough. um, as long as you wake up in the morning, then that is your opportunity to find your way back to where it is that you're called to. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that if you were to cry out and really ask God, hey, you know what, I need help, please, like send somebody, uh, you know, uh, show me, re kind of ignite that spark. I honestly believe that it will be there. I honestly believe that if you continue to ask those questions, that you are going to be able to find that answer. um, there's just so many opportunities this day that we are living in. um, my goodness, if you could figure out how to do great things just by YouTube alone, you know what I mean? So I know that can be overwhelming at times, but at some point you need to choose a thing to do. And if your heart and your commitment is to be, faithful to your purpose, you'll find your way on the right track. You will find your way on the right track. I really believe that. So that's my encouragement. My encouragement is don't give up. Don't give in to any defeating thoughts that might have held you back. We all experience them. We're all, second guess ourselves, doubt ourselves, deal with failure, um, you know, deal with feeling, unworthy or not like we have enough. Um, the difference, though, between those that continue to press forward is we don't let that stop us. We feel it, acknowledge it, sort it out. Sometimes with the help of our network, our village, but we commit to just taking that next step. Yeah. So that's what I would. That's a lot. It's not a little word. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a quite a big word, but yeah.
Thank you for that advice, that counsel that you have given to us, and for that lady who needs it. Very much appreciated and appreciative of that information, that encouragement, and knowing that, yes, it is God who has designed
Mm-hmm.
for us and for us to walk in it. Um, this has been awesome. A great way to start off the first conversation for 2022, Colleen. Thank you for being here once again. And ladies, I just wanted to let you know that we are going to continue next week. And our guest for next week is Jessica Robinson. She's a Christian therapist who will be speaking on healthy boundaries in relationships and work. And so that's next Thursday, January the 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And lastly, ladies, before you sign off, if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to Rise with Hope.